Hey guys, how are we doing today? This is Wally with LearningNet.com, and in today's video, I wanted to answer a question that many of you may have on your minds right now, especially if you've just opened a small business. If you want to get a website online, you probably want to know what is the best web hosting for small businesses. So that's what this video is about today, and I put together some quick tips, pointers that I think will really help you out to really label it down. There are a lot of web hosting companies out there that will get you online fairly quick. But in this video, I just wanted to give you guys my personal take and suggestions as a blogger and entrepreneur. What are the best web hosting solutions out there for small businesses? First off, give yourself a pat on the back. If you're working from home, be it for like a network marketing company or affiliate marketing or just some other type of small business itself. I'm really excited for you guys, as I was too when I first got started working from home. But one of the things I realized that to really scale my business and really explode it and take it to the next level, I had to actually get online, and that's probably why you're watching this video today. You probably already have a storefront, or you're probably working a business itself, but you want to have your very own website online. So what I'm going to do right now is minimize this screen, and that way I'm going to show you guys what exactly you should look for and think about when it comes to selecting a web hosting company for your small business. If you guys are new here to this channel for learningnet.com, hit the subscribe button that's right below, along with the bell, and that way any future videos, guys, that I put up, you'll be sure to receive them. And if you have any questions at all throughout this video, don't forget to drop them below. That way I can read them and I'll answer them as fast as I can, okay? All right, so let's minimize this screen right now. And as you guys will notice, there are a few pointers that I have here that'll help you to find out, what's the best web hosting for small business today, be it 2019 or going forward. These pointers are not in any specific order, as you guys can see. You don't have to consider them each just like that. But again, these are just things that I feel are extremely important that have helped me to select well when it comes to creating websites. So the obvious thing that you want to know about is cost. If this is going to be your very first website and it's your very first time using web hosting, you're probably concerned about cost. What does it cost to really get online? And that's a very broad answer because, there are literally hundreds upon hundreds of web hosting providers out there. So let me give you a ballpark of what you should expect for beginner, websites itself. You can look typically in the ballpark of more or less about $3 per month, up to say maybe 10 or even 15, depending on the type of host that you select. So starting anywhere from about $3 per month up to about 10, and the high end, I would say, for shared web hosting itself, typically runs about $10 up in there, $3 to $10 in that area itself. Later, I'm going to tell you guys which one that I recommend for beginners to get started with small businesses, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that one later. But as for cost itself, you'll notice that web hosting itself, depending on what exactly you're looking for, if it's like a beginner package itself, as I mentioned before, most web hosting companies charge or range anywhere from about the $3 mark going up, more or less. So look for that when it comes to cost itself. I think that that particular price point, you will notice that with web hosting across the board, you have shared web hosting and there's managed web hosting. There's like cloud based VPN rather, dedicated server, hosting itself. So many different types of hosting itself. But if you're getting started off, I recommend that you guys just stick with shared web hosting itself, which ranges on average about $3, which is like on the low end itself. The next point that I wanted to go over with you guys in this review is uptime. Now, if you're not sure, you don't understand what uptime is, it's basically the percent or the percentage of time that your website is actually visible online. So right now, I mean, you're watching this video, learning about, what's the best web hosting for small business. But if you were on my blog and you were searching like on Google and you got this video, or perhaps like a blog post of mine and you clicked on it and it wasn't available, the link wasn't available, the website didn't load, that would be an example of bad uptime. Of course, none of my websites have that issue. The web hosting providers that I use maintain an average of 99.9% or better. And so that's why I put that, emphasis on that. Reliability is extremely important when you're online. Obviously, with your new small business that you've, opened or thinking of opening, when people are searching for you online, be it on Google, Yahoo, Bing, when they search for your products and services that you sell, if they click through on your website and it's not available, likely they'll just bounce off and just go to your competition. And obviously, you don't want that because you lose money, credibility, and also your brand is not respected. So again, look for a web hosting provider that has an average of 99.9% or better when it comes to performance with their servers. I think that's the best thing to look for. The next point that I wanted to go over with you guys has to kind of ties in back to cost. Because typically with web hosting itself, you'll notice two things. You'll see one, an introductory price itself, which is super cheap. And then on the second and on the back end of it, you'll see what's called a renewal fee, which typically is tied into the regular rate of the web host itself. So just to give you guys an example of that, there's several web hosting companies out there. I'll just type in one right now that I use as well. And I've created like 12 websites, 12 blogs online with them, and that's SiteGround. If you guys want to use them, I'll leave a link, right below for them. But just to give you guys an example of what the difference is between like introductory rates or prices versus the actual pricing itself. So if you're a beginner, shared hosting is, ideal to start off with. And so what you'll notice is that typically there are two price points that you're looking at. Like in this case with SiteGround, the regular rate is $11.95 for the beginner package itself. As I mentioned before, web hosting can start very low, but you could, get up to even $15 or more. But like in this case right here, this example with SiteGround, you can see the regular rate for this beginner startup package is $11.95, but the introductory price is $3.95. So what this means, guys, is that once you get started with, in this example, let's say if you were getting started with SiteGround today, with the links below, what you would do is once you purchase your web hosting itself, the rate itself will be offered to you initially at $3.95. So what I encourage you to do is, you can purchase web hosting by, like you can purchase it for an entire year, 2 years, 3 years, or more. And the idea with web hosting is this: so you'll be able to save more on both the front and back end. In my opinion, I recommend buying more than 1 year of web hosting itself. And so when you do that, in the case of SiteGround, this is just the example, you would get, let's say you got 2 years of it, you would get 2 years at this particular rate, $3.95. And when the 2 years finishes, and this is just an example, it will revert back or renew at $11.95 per month, if that makes sense to you. So that's typically how web hosting works across the board, no matter which web hosting provider that you use to create your website for your small business. Every web hosting provider works that way. There are two prices that you're working with. One is the regular price, and the second price, which is typically like the promo, is what's called the introductory price itself. So that's really what you need to understand when it comes to purchasing or buying, the best web hosting for small businesses. You want to understand how that works. Okay. So now that that's out of the way and you understand renewal fees or renewal prices for web hosting, let's talk about the company's background, the reputation. What is it that people think about this particular web hosting provider? What's their current experience? I think this is an extremely important question, to answer, at least to investigate prior to getting started, with a web hosting company. Obviously, because, your small business, you're investing a lot of money, time in this, and you work hard for your money, right? We all work hard for our money. We want to make sure that our money that we're using to advertise and promote our business is actually gonna work out. It's gonna be reliable, and it's actually gonna be worthwhile. It's gonna be well spent. So looking at the company's like reputation itself is a really, really important thing to do. And one thing that I like to do is I like to go over to websites like Trustpilot. It's a very reliable, honest, authoritative website itself where you can type in the name of a web hosting company or any company for that matter, and you can see what other people think about that particular web hosting company itself. So that's one way to go about doing it. Obviously, you could type in the actual web hosting's name itself, and you can tag it with like reviews, or is it reliable, something like that, to really research, the company itself. Again, I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit later on one that I highly recommend that meets not only my standards but has really, really great customer experience across the board. The next point that I wanted to hone in on has to deal with like features itself across the board that comes with web hosting. Now, you'll notice that typically you'll have one or two things with web hosting, guys. You'll have either a website that gives you unlimited everything up front, or one that has certain restrictions where you may have restrictions maybe on bandwidth, restrictions maybe on like website visitors per month. One of those two things you're going to have when you're searching for web hosting for your small business. So, again, there are a lot of web hosting providers out there. I think that unlimited features across the board are great, but as a beginner, you may not need unlimited everything. And so, a web hosting company, if you get unlimited everything, a web hosting company might charge you maybe a higher rate, perhaps, to to get unlimited features across the board. But let's say you don't need all these extra features. You're just paying for features that you really don't need. So what I recommend with web hosting for your small business, guys, is just to get what you need, purchase features or get features, select features that you actually need for your business. Only you know personally what you'll need for your small business, and that's something that I can help you guys to be able to gauge a little bit better, but just not to be confused or overwhelmed with all the unlimited features that are out there, unlimited this, unlimited that, that a lot of web hosting providers give to you up front. Okay. Next up is customer support. 24/7 customer support, be it by email, chat support, phone-based customer support. It's extremely important. Obviously, guys, if you have any questions about your web hosting, your website, and you need an answer, it could be something very simple as far as, like the functionality of like a plugin or maybe a theme or just something else that's going on that you just have a question about it. And it's nothing like being able to pick up the phone at any given hour, 24/7, wherever you're at, to be able to speak to somebody who can help and answer your questions. I throw in there also free site migrations. Let me spell that right, guys. So let me correct that. Free site migrations or site transfers. So what that is in the event you want to transfer your website away from a particular provider, I recommend using one that doesn't charge you to do that. There are web hosting companies that charge you to do that, but why pay for it if you can get it for free? So free site migrations are a really great service that most web hosting providers out there provide for free, and that's a really good thing to look for also with your web host that you're going to use to create your business website. Obviously, if you have any issues, with your web hosting itself, you want to know about the money back guarantee. Is there a money back guarantee? Most web hosting companies across the board that I've seen offer a 30-day money back guarantee. Some offer a more extended money back guarantee, but 30 days is pretty standard. If you came across a web hosting company that offered less than that, I would stay away from them. 30 days or more is typically the ideal solution to look for. So thinking about all these points, we went over cost, affordability, uptime, um, introductory rates versus renewal fees, customer reputation, features, customer support, site migrations. All of these points are some main ideas that I really consider before creating a website online for small businesses. Now, the question that we all come to is, who is it that I recommend that you should use to create your business website? I mentioned earlier about SiteGround. I really love them, but there's one that I prefer over SiteGround that has really great performance, 24/7 customer support, and more importantly, it's more affordable. The company that we're looking at is Scala Hosting, guys. I'm going to be leaving a coupon right below. When you check out today with your web hosting, if you key in the promo code LearnaNet, as in my website itself, I'll leave it right below. It's LearnaNet. That's the promo code itself. What it's going to do for you guys is give you an additional discount on your web hosting. It's like 25%. You're going to be able to get 3 months of service for just $1. So you're going to have this, you can key in this coupon code, or you can key in my actual promo code, which is LearnaNet at checkout. That's going to give you an additional 25% off of your website hosting today. Now, the awesome thing about Scala hosting that I wanted to highlight with you guys today is when it comes to affordability, as I mentioned before, they're very, very inexpensive. And so you can see there are 4 packages that you have access to. There's the mini, start, advanced, and e-commerce, which is e-commerce is really ideal for obviously setting up stores online if you want to sell like products, things of that nature. But you can see that what I love about Scala hosting is that they don't overly charge you for items or unlimited items that you don't need. For example, with the mini, which is great for beginners, you get 10 gigabytes of web space. It's not unlimited, but you do get a high volume of allowance for website visitors each and every month, and that's 90,000, which is more than average. SiteGround is great, that I mentioned before, but they only give you 10,000 per month on the very first tier. So that's why I prefer Scala hosting over SiteGround, although SiteGround does perform very well, guys, as well. The start plan itself, which is the second tier up, you'll see going as you progress and scale up, you get unlimited space across the board. The only real difference between the start, advanced, and e-commerce is really the allowance of website visitors itself. And so what I recommend simply is just to, when you get started using the links below, guys, just simply get started with the plan that you feel is best for you. You're going to be getting, with this promo, 3 months for the price of $1. You can't beat that. You're going to have instant activation of your website itself with WordPress. I mentioned already that they do have free migration assistance. If you want to migrate your website over to Scala hosting, you can do that 100% free. Or if you just want to start, from point blank, from ground up, you can do that as well. So Scala hosting is my number one best, web hosting service for small businesses. They have a really nice cPanel itself, that'll help you to, create like your websites and stuff like that, and adding, like additional websites if you need additional, like resources and things of that nature. And so I wanted to take you guys briefly over to Trustpilot. I mentioned this website before, and how you can really just type in like the web hosting itself, and you can see what other people think about Scala hosting. What's the customer experience? What do people think about Scala hosting itself? And so you'll notice that on this particular report, that Scala hosting has a very, very nice reputation online, guys. And I think that's extremely important. They have 5 stars across the board, which means that they perform very, very well. Customers are extremely happy, with them. And you can see just people have nothing but positive things to say about their service. And so I just wanted to show you guys briefly what Trustpilot says. Of course, you'll find that, online, people just have nothing but positive things to say about them, even like on their Facebook page as well. But, it's a really great web hosting provider, guys, with great performance. They're very reliable, and they have top-notch customer service. Again, in the event that you guys, have any questions at all. And so, anyway, I just wanted to share with you guys who I recommend today to create websites for in 2019 going forward for small businesses. You notice that they have several different resources, guys, SSL certificates, which are great for security and encrypting, your website to protect it against like hackers, and even, if your customers are going to be entering like debit and credit card information on your website, SSL certificates are great to protect that information as well. So Scala hosting, guys, I recommend getting started with them today. If you are wanting to get your website off to a really great start, I recommend using Scala hosting to do that. Again, they're 100% reliable. They have an amazing reputation online. I've been with them, for quite some time, and they have all of the website builder tools that you guys will need to get online successfully. Okay, so get started today, guys, by using the links below. I hope you guys so much success in your endeavors of building and growing your business in 2019 going forward. Okay, all right. So the last thing that I want you guys to do, if you have not done so already, I want you to hit the like button. Show me some love. Hit the like button right now if you like what you heard. If you have any questions about Scala hosting, you can drop them right below. And I also want you guys to subscribe to this channel. And that way, it lets me know, again, how I'm performing, online, if I'm answering your questions, if I'm covering all the points that you need to hear, to get your website off to a good start. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way, any future videos that I put up, you guys will be sure to receive them, okay? All right, get started below using the links that are right in the descriptions portion of this video. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care and have a wonderful day.